In this video, we're going to take and build a product determination model for use with our demonstration BI. So let's go in and log in as our administrative user. I can log in as an administrative user, or if I have users set up to be specific determination engine modeling types and configuration modeling types or roles, I can take and assign those as well. So for example, if I were to come in here and create a new user, I would be able to see roles for things like being able to define the availability models, a modeling role, as well as a manager role, which would be someone who may actually go in and put in the details of it. We can see the same thing for guided selling, product configuration. So any of these roles or an administrator role will allow you to take and execute these functions. So we're going to go in and create a product determination model. So let's go down to our determination model types. We'll be able to see our different types that are available. These are viax's implementations of our generic determination engine. In this case, we're going to be doing product determination. And we're going to create a new product model. So this is going to be our demo video product model. And we'll just paste the same thing into our description. So once we say save, we now enter the UI to take in, start building out what is going to be our product determination models, or in other words, what products a person is going to see based on specific context. Within viax, we're breaking the paradigm where I would go through and create static catalog objects and then replicate products into and categories and subcategories and all the different taxonomies and schemas, replicate those into these static catalog objects that someone then needs to take and maintain. What we're doing is actually building a rule definition, a contextual definition of what products an individual, a group, a region, a market, whatever context you want to use should see. So in this case, we're going to start out by leveraging what we call an element group. So an element group can consist of multiple elements. So if I have different criteria that I want to use for assigning products, I could take and create a high-level group and then have the other criteria, the other elements within it. So we're going to go through and just say we want to create one that's called discrete products. Again, we'll just copy that down into the description. The strategy allows me to go through and take in, define what happens if I see multiple criteria that could apply in this particular determination model. So do I quit after the first time I meet that criteria? Do I quit after the last time I meet that criteria? I'm just going to say we're going to use the sum in this particular case. So that meaning I could have multiple elements in here, discrete products, configurable products, service products, and I want to be able to go through and say, look through all of those elements, for example, in order to bring back the products that should be displayed. So let's go through and say save at this point. So we've got our discrete products. Now we're going to go in and create our element. We're only going to create a single one for this video. In this case, it's going to be physical products. Again, we'll just copy that back down into our description. I could call an external function for my context here. So in this case, if I needed, even if I wanted to call out to a third-party PIM, for example, looking for products or product information, I could call out to these external applications using a Lambda, for example. In my case, I'm just going to use a context in order to do this. In this example, I'm just going to use country as my context. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom. We're going to say country is what we're going to use to define which products a person could see within the interaction that uses this determination model. So I'm going to select save. I should also note that you do have the option of, if you've done schema extensions, you can take and include your own contexts within these determination engines. So when I expand this, I now see physical products. If I click on it, I can now go in and create the line values for those. So if I say create line, we now have country, right? So I can put in US for my country code. So any customer with a US sold to is going to have access to the items that I described below. You could go through and do things like, does not contain US is, if I have other types of values in here, I could go through and take in, again, change the criteria that is being measured within this context. I'm just going to say it is equal to the US. Everything requires an effectivity date, so I'm going to go through and say beginning of October, and then I'll just pick a date in the future for this particular product catalog or product determination model to be effective. And I'm going to say it's going to be a combination of different things. In my case, I'm going to use different families or categories of products. So I'm going to say or, and in this case, we're going to say family is the criteria we're using. And I'm going to say the family needs to be equal to cleaning wipes, I can take and add as many of these as I want. So family is going to be cleaning wipes. It's going to be AED products. And it's going to be otoscopes. So family is equal to otoscopes. So now any product within Viax that has a family assignment of otoscopes or AED products or cleaning wipes is now going to be available to customers within the US. So I'm going to say create. And then I can do the same thing, for example, for Canada. So we'll go through and we'll create another line value. And in this case, we're going to say Canada users. Again, we're going to use the same date ranges. And in this case, we're going to use family of sterile syringes. And we'll create that. So now we've got our two different criteria defined, or our contexts defined, for our what will be a runtime determination of the catalog a customer should see. I can go through and edit even from this view. So if I were to select on this field for country, I could go in and put in, Italy. I could put in, Switzerland, right? I could put in whatever countries I have enabled within my application. Same thing with dates. I can go through and modify dates. I can also go through by selecting the three buttons to the right here, and I'd be able to take and duplicate or remove. So an easier way to even create this Canadian catalog would have been to say duplicate. And now if I wanted to say basically the exact same setup for Italy, I could go in and just add in the country code for Italy and create that. And now I've gone through and created three different country-specific catalogs for my sold to customers coming into my site. So we've gone through and we've shown how we can take and create a simple product determination model to take and control what products are seen within a specific business interaction within Viax. Thank you for your time.